Good evening, everyone, and welcome live from Tompkins Plaza at First Energy Stadium. It is a Savage 61 Fiesta Friday night as the Reading Fightin' Phils will take the place of now the Los Luchadores tonight as they take on the Hartford Yard Goats. We were trying to find out the actual translation for Yard Goats in Spanish. It's Chiva de Yarda, but the real answer was there's no such thing in Spanish. Just none of us can be surprised. Alongside Jake Starr, my name is Bob McCool, and you might notice that there's a third man in our pregame show, and that is one of the heroes of last night's season first win, Max Kuhns, who got the save. Max, let's go right into what was going on last night. You were up in the ninth inning. Phils had gotten the lead. You were sitting on a 3-2 lead. It became a 4-2 lead, which at least gave you a little bit of insurance. But while you're up there and you knew that you were going to be in a position to pick up a save for the first win of the season, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, well, I'm happy we got that insurance run in the eighth inning because last night my stuff wasn't what it was on Tuesday, so having that little extra cushion from our offense was great. But just going out there and trying to do my job, you know. We did a really good job. Schulze came in earlier in the game and really put us in a good position to win. Coming into a game, bases loaded, one out, and getting back-to-back strikeouts, and then bringing it to me in the back end. Last night was a great team win, and hopefully we can get things rolling.
That closer role, is that a spot in the bullpen you can kind of see yourself falling into, or you're just trying to be more versatile and fit wherever Al Padrique and Brad Bergeson need you?
Yeah, wherever Brad and Al need me. So I was a closer in college, and then I closed down this last year in Mexico when I was down there for the Winter League. But I'm open for whatever they need me, whatever helps the team win. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, yours is a really cool story because for the last couple of years you were playing in independent baseball in Sioux City, Iowa, which not a lot of people know, but we do. This is a long way from Sioux City, Iowa to be here in Reading, Pennsylvania. What do you know about this I mean, obviously not so much the Phillies organization, but coming here to Reading, what kind of stories were you told in spring training when you found out you were coming to Reading?
So I didn't know much. So for most of spring training, I was with the high A group. So I didn't know much about Reading or even if I was going to go to Reading. So I didn't find out I was coming here until the last day at camp. So when our GM came in and spoke to us, that was the first time I've heard anything about this ballpark.
And that journey through indie ball certainly can be a grind sometimes when you're working through independent baseball, trying to get into the pro ranks. Talk to us a little bit about that journey and just mentally, how did it help you grow?
Yeah, so I was with the Mets from 2016 to 2019. I got Tommy John in when I was there. Came back, my velo wasn't what it was before. So I got released, played indie ball in Canada, got released there because my velo still wasn't back. And I thought I was actually done playing baseball. I started to get my master's, then COVID hit, and one of my former players that I used to coach came back, needed someone to play catch with that day. Radar gun just happened to be up, and I was throwing harder than I was the year before without picking up a ball for 9 months. So trained all at COVID, got up to 96, put it out on Twitter, and got picked up in indie ball off Twitter. But no, indie ball, you'll find out if you love baseball real quick. The places that you go aren't necessarily the best. The conditions aren't the best, but it was the first time in a while where I truly fell back in love with the game of baseball because every single day we were out there trying to win because we knew in order for us to get back to affiliate, we had to win some baseball games because no scout's gonna come watch a last place team. So it was a grind for sure, but it made me appreciate the game of baseball a lot more.
So tell the story. How did you get attached back to the Phillies organization coming out of independent ball? Where did that connection come from that tied you to the Phillies organization?
So I was in Sioux City the past 2 years, and then this last winter I went down and played in Mexico, came back a little bit early, and I had a tryout with the Royals mid-January or so I was getting geared up for that. And then the following week, there was a pro day at Push Performance down in Arizona, a training facility. And when I was with the Mets, I used to train with them back then in Colorado. So I hit up the owner and was like, hey, I don't know if it's late. I don't know if you guys have an extra spot or anything like that. And he's like, we'll find a way to get you in there. Had a pretty good pro day. It was 94, 96 down there in a bullpen. And then Ben Worthen with the Phillies called me. That was on a Sunday. He called me on Wednesday saying, hey, send as many clips as you possibly can. And the following Tuesday, he calls and offered me a contract to come down. And yeah, at that moment, I was in the middle of working with our high school arm velocity program. and took a step outside and came back in. The whole facility went crazy, so it was a pretty cool experience.
That's awesome stuff. Really cool.
So now you're here in Reading, been here for a couple of weeks, first homestand halfway over. What's been the impression of this fan base, this organization so far?
No, I love everything about the Phillies organization so far. Down in spring training, everyone is so open and honest, and the communication between players and coaches and front office is a lot different than the experience I had before. And then in Reading, opening night was great. Like, pretty much sold out crowd. Like, we got it going there for a second. Wish we would have got a win that night, but no, the fans have been great, and I'm excited to see where things go this year.
You were talking about the fact that you were a closer in college and you've been in those situations before, maybe not in the kind of situation as much, maybe with as much as adrenaline as last night, but the mindset of being, obviously you were a starter at some points in time in your life, the mindset of becoming a reliever, and obviously it's something that you really like.
Yeah, so when I went to college at Santa Clara, I went there as a two-way guy. So I played third, started 25 games my freshman year at third base, ended up getting an injury that summer, came back, really wasn't doing pitching or playing the field, and then had a really good outing, and they decided, hey, we're just going to PO you from here on out. And the reason I love being a reliever so much is because it gives you the opportunity to play in every single game. You feel like truly attached to the team, whereas when, like, I feel like if I was a starting pitcher, it'd be hard just pitching once every 5 days. So it keeps me engaged with the team, and I love the role of, like, hey, when the game's on the line, like, it's up to me, it's up to us down in that bullpen to secure a win for us, and it makes me feel like I'm contributing to the team a little bit more.
And you talk about that bullpen. Last night, I think arguably you could say was the best outing by the group. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run allowed. What kind of confidence can that instill in this group that you finally got that first win, and a big reason why you got that first win was because the bullpen pitched so well?
Yeah, I mean, our bullpen is nasty. Like, I've been around baseball. This is my 7th year professionally, and our bullpen has some legit arms as well as our starting pitchers. But we knew going into it, we might have not had the results that we wanted to early on in the year, but we know our stuff, we know our talent level, and I think that's a good snowball to get us rolling for sure.
Was there a point in time where you were kind of looking around in spring training when you were all of a sudden seeing guys like Painter and Abel and McGarry, and they're throwing 98-mile-an-hour cheese, and you're thinking, how did I get here?
Yeah, a little bit. It was watching. I saw Mick throw a little bit in spring training when he got back on the minor league side, and I was like, that is the most effortless 98 miles an hour I've seen in my whole entire life. Like, there's certain guys you see and you're like, that's a big leaguer. And Mick was definitely one of those guys. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Pater too much, and I think I saw Griff get to throw once or twice. But no, it's cool to see those guys and how effortless it is, and the preparation that they put into everything that they do. They go about it very professionally.
You take away things from those guys, or maybe some of the other guys that you're around in spring training or here, the professional side of things, or just way to go about your day and all that?
Yeah, so I'm one of the older guys here. I think it's Max and I are the only two 28-year-olds on the roster. So being around the game and stuff, I've picked brains throughout my whole entire career, and it's cool to pick the brains of guys that their talent level is just through the roof, you know. But being an older guy, I enjoy sharing my story and stuff like that as well. And then also, pitching is such an interesting thing where you can feel something one day and not feel it the next day, and just having different cues from different players and stuff, talking with them and getting back on track and making something work is really cool.
Max, we're going to let you go because we know you got to get back in the clubhouse, but we appreciate you spending some time with us. Congratulations getting the team's first save. Keep it up, man. You get that story completed. They make Disney movies out of stuff like this.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to get back out there and hopefully get another win tonight.
Thanks very much. Max Kuhns joining us. More of our pregame show live from Tompkins Plaza outside First Energy Stadium after this.